Hola amigos, this is Somvir and welcome back to CodePipe. In today's video we will see how to make tic-tac-toe game using JavaScript. We will try to understand how we can build logic on our own. We will also see some DOM manipulation using JavaScript. So let me show you what we are going to achieve. This is what we are expecting at the end of our video. This is a typical tic-tac-toe game. Here it says current player is X. So if we place X here, it says O. So alternately we will have current players as X and O. And let's see if we can make a player win. And if I put X here, it says X won the game. If the game reaches a condition where none of the players can win, it will show us the information that game is stale and you need to play again. So let's try to make the game stale, and we will reach a condition where game will be stale. So we will get this notification, and if we hit play again, everything will be reset and we can play again. And if we press on this reset, it will be reset. Now without wasting any time, let's see how we can build this. I'm using VS Code here. I already have the files ready, that is index.html, logic, script and style. If you want to know what extensions and how I set up my VS Code, there will be a card on the top right corner. Please have a look. Now whenever I start my coding, I go to logic.txt and I try to put all my logic, that is what we are going to achieve and what are the requirements, how we are going to do that, everything in my logic.txt, so that I can refer back whenever I need some help or I am stuck anywhere. So my logic will look something like this. Let me zoom in a little. So as we know, there will be two players X and O. The rules are simple. If they are in a straight or diagonal line, the player wins. We need to have a reset button. We need to have a division to show the notification of game over. Then we need to have different colors for both players, and players should switch after each chance. So this is what we need to achieve. We have our logic ready. Now let's go to our index.html and keep our HTML file ready. So I'll be using shortcut from VS Code extension. Using this I will get a simple HTML document. Here I will say tic-tac-toe. What we are going to do with the body is, if we see at the main game, it is quite simple. We will have a heading, two paragraph tags, or we can say three paragraph tags, one button division and one reset button, and a division to show notification. So let me quickly do all of that. Our code will now look something like this. Here I pasted HTML code because our main focus is on JavaScript part, not the HTML and styling part. I'm sure you can get HTML templates online or you can style it yourself. So we have a heading, we have three paragraph tags to show the current player and some information. Then we have button division, then we have reset button and a division to show notification. Now let us see how this is looking on our web page. So I'm going to use the extension go live. The extension will look something like, okay, the name should be live server, not go live. This is already enabled, so I will go to my index.html. We will see the go live option on our bottom right corner. If it is not available, I will just press alt plus K and alt plus O. Or as a third option, you can choose any HTML file and you can say open with live server. And actually it is alt plus L and alt plus O. So let's use this option here. You can see here, without any styling, our page will look something like this. We want it to look like this. So let's put some style here. In my style.css, again I will put some code here. And no need to worry, this is very simple. You will get this on my GitHub link, and if you want you can design it yourself. Let's save this, put it in our HTML file on meta tags. That will be link css, and our name is style.css, so I will leave it as it is. Let's save this and check our browser, and we can see as soon as we save, it is already updated because of the live server. To differentiate demo version from main version, I am using this demo keyword here, so we will know the difference. Here we can see nothing is working now. So our HTML and styling part is complete. Now let's go to the JavaScript to add functions to our game. Before starting our script, I will add the link to the script here. that will be with source is script.js. Also, I will upload it using differ so that both my script and HTML file will load at the same time. Now if I go to my script file, I will first of all use strict so that I do not use any undefined variables while I'm programming. After this, let's write down what we are going to do. First of all, we will be defining all the variables. Then we need to add event listener to all the buttons so that we can put X or O. After that, we will need some helper functions, which will be to check if the game is stale, check if the current player is winner. Then we will need show notification. After this, at the last, we will have reset function. So these are all the main functions that we are going to do. First of all, let's define all the variables that we are going to need. That will look something like this. We have all the buttons using document.querySelector.all. I am using the class of button. In my index.html, you can see for button divisions I am using a button class. So I am using that to take all of my buttons. Then I am using a active player span. The active player span will be placed here so that I can show what player is currently playing the game. Then we have notification, which this is the notification division to show or hide. Then we have notif winner. This is a part of notification. So in our index.html, in the notification division, we have a paragraph tag here which will show who won the game. So I'm taking out that using notif winner. Then we have reset button, and then we have play again button. Along with this, we will make a variable that is active and we will put it to X. So first of all, we will start our game with the X player, and as we discussed, we have this active player span. So I will put this active value into this span. So I can say active player span dot text content is equal to active. I have changed the alignment so that we can see both our code and the web page on the same screen. Now as we can see, we have our current player as X. Now we will take these buttons and we will add event listeners to all the button. So I will come here, I will say buttons dot for each, take a single button, and I will say button dot add event listener. That will be click, and the function will look something like, first of all, let's see if we are able to click our buttons or not. So I will just log button clicked. Let's save this, go to our web page, go to the console area, and if I click on any button, it says button clicked and it works for all the buttons. Now we can add logic here. What logic do we use? So whenever I want to click here, I want this current active player to be input here. I want this button to be disabled, and I want the text color with the same as the current player color. So I will say button dot text content is equal to active. Let's see, it is coming. Now along with putting the active player value here, I want to disable it so that we don't use it one more time. So I will say button dot set attribute disabled as true, and let's try. We are not able to click it once more, so this works. Our initial part is ready. Now we want to change the color of the button value and change the active player to O. So for that, let me check if the active is equal to O. I will make active as X, and also I will put this changed active value into our active player span, which is this one. So this is for O. Let's make the else part also, which is when active is not is equal to O and it is actually equal to X. So I will do the opposite of this, which is active is equal to O, and I will put O as the active player. Let's save this and let's try it out. So if I click here, it is X. Now it is O, and our active value should also be O. So when I click here, it should place O, and it is doing that. Now the next step is to change the colors. So for that, I will add a class to these buttons according to the current player value. For that, I will change the color before changing the active, and I'll do the same with this one, but here I will put X. We are doing this before changing the active because Currently the active player is O and we want to give the same color as the active player. But once we change it to X, it will be a different color. So we want to keep the addition of class before active player is changed. So let's try it out. If we click on this, we have the correct color. We have X. The button is disabled. Let's try on second button. We have O and all of the buttons are working fine. But if we check here, this current player's pen is not working fine. It is only giving us the red color. So what we need to do is, once the active is changed, then we need to change the color of this span, because this shows what next we are going to play. So we need to use color for the next one, not the previous one. So for that, if the current active player is O, I will add the class of player X to this active player span and remove the class of player O, because we have changed it from O to X. Now we need to show the class for X. Let me do the same thing with the else section, and here I will just change this to player O and here I will use player X. These are actually capital. Now it should work fine. If we click here, this is X, which is red in color. Now the active player is O, which should be blue. Here it is coming blue, and if we click here, it is also coming in blue. Now X is in red, and if we click, X is in red here. So this is working fine. Also in our code, there is a principle of do not repeat yourself. So if we look at these three lines are pretty much repeated in both the code, in both the blocks. So what I will do is, I will copy this and make a new function here that will be to change active value. It will look something like change active. I will give it from value to value. Let's make it an arrow function. I will paste my code here. I will make it a string literal, and in place of this I will use to value. I will do the same with this O also, but here I will use from value. Coming down, let's comment these three lines out, and here I can just use a simple function that is change active. I will give the value of from and to values, which are from I want to change O and I want to change it to X. Let's do the same with the next block also. Comment this out, use the function to change from X to O this time, and this should work. Let's try it out. This is actually working. If we want, we can delete this also. Now our code looks simple and it is a lot more cleaner. At this point, we have our basic structure of our game ready. Now we need to check whenever we are clicking on a button using this value if we are winning the game or the game is stuck, and in both the situations we need to show the notification. So just after we check the condition, I will check if it is winner or is stale and show notification. So let's make these three functions. First of all, let's see how we can check for the winner. So I will say const is winner, making it an arrow function. I will take a value here which will be the input value of these buttons. Here what I'm going to do is I will take out all of the values from these buttons and I'm going to compare these values in my rows, columns and diagonals to check if we have the same value. If we have the same value, the player wins. This is a lengthy process, so let me just paste lines of code here. The code will look something like this. Let me explain you. First of all, we are getting the button values using the buttons node list that we have defined at the starting. Once we have all the button values, we will define winning conditions. So we have condition 1 to condition 8, which is B0, B1, B2, like B0, B1, B2, if these are same. Similarly, we have 8 more conditions. Now, if any of the conditions is satisfied, we will say the provided value, which is coming from the input value of button, is the winner. Otherwise, it is not. In the same way, we will make a function for checking if the game is stale. So let's define it is stale. I don't need any value here. The function will look something like this. Let me tell you what's going on. First of all, we are creating a new array from buttons node list. The point to remember here is buttons is a node list, not array. So we are converting this node list into array. Now why I am converting these buttons into array? The answer to that is simple. We are doing that so that we can use this filter option here. Why I am using filter is I want to check if all the buttons are disabled or not. If all the buttons are disabled and we do not have a winner, which means the game cannot be continued and it is stale. So I am using this filter here, which can be used only on arrays, and here I am filtering out all the buttons that are disabled. If the length of disabled buttons is equal to 0 and we do not have a winner, we have returned true, which means the game is stale. Otherwise the game is not stale. Now let's make the third function, which is to show notification, which should be somewhere here. I will say const show notif. I will take a message here because we have two messages, either someone wins or the game is stale. So this function will look something like this. Let me show you what's going on. First of all, I am removing the hidden class from our notification division, which I have used to hide the notification at first. Then inside this division, we have a span where we are showing who won and who lost. So I am putting this message into my span there. And then I am also disabling the reset button and the buttons because the game is actually over and there are no use of these buttons. Now the next step is to use these three helper functions into our main function, that is event listener on all the buttons. So below this I will check the condition. If is winner, we need to give a value here which is active. We are using active here because we have not changed the active, which we are doing on a later part. If the active player is winning, then I will say show notif and the message will look something like active won the game. Else, if we do not have any winner, then we will check if the game is stale or not. So I will say if is stale. We do not need to provide any parameters here. If it is stale, I will say show notif. The message will be game is stale. Now let's copy this on the else block also. Let's try it out. Here I will let a player win. So let X win here. And here we can say X won the game. If we click on play again, this button is not working. So now let's quickly make the function of resetting the game, which should be at the end. Here I am using a single function for both the reset button and the play again button. As you can see, we have this reset game on the click event listener. So I will create a new function, that is reset game. What we need to do here? We need to use the initial conditions of the game that we were using. So for that, I'm using this line of code here. So let me walk you through. So first of all, we are removing the disabled attribute from our buttons. We are putting the text content as blank. Then we are hiding our notification. We are making our active player as X. We are putting this active player into our active player span text content. Just in case if the old class is still available on our active player span, we will remove the player or class and we will add player X class. And we are initially starting from player X. So for a safe side, we are also removing player O from all the buttons if it is available. And remember, we were disabling this reset button also whenever we have the notification on our screen. So I am also removing that attribute here. But before that, we have an error here, which is reset game is not defined. We defined it, but we forgot to make it a const. So let's check our game now. If I let X win, it says X won the game. If I let O win, it says O won the game. Let's try to make it stale if we can. And it says game is stale. Play again. And if I click on play again, everything is back to normal and we have the same scheme. And if we use this reset button, it is also making everything back to same. With this, we can say our tic-tac-toe game is ready using JavaScript. If you have watched the complete video until now, let me take one more minute of you. Let me tell you about something that I am proud of. I actually have a course on Udemy that is about web development, but that is on Python framework using Django. In this course, we designed and hosted Django e-commerce website from scratch. As you can see the course content, first of all, we designed UI and UX. We designed front end using HTML, CSS. We designed backend using Django. We hosted the website on cPanel. And at the last, I also tried to explain some mistakes and what could be done better. So have a look on this course. The link will be available in the description. Also, recently I have monetized my YouTube channel. So if you are a budding YouTuber and programmer wants to show your talent on YouTube, so you can use this cool tool, that is TubeBuddy. It is officially YouTube certified. It is backed by many of the famous YouTubers. It has many cool features like advanced keyword research. It can cut your publishing time in half by providing a template for thumbnails. It can help you rank higher in search results using SEO. It can help you track all your views and subscriber count on your mobile and on your social media accounts. The link for this is also in the description, so please have a look. I hope this video was informational and useful to you guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. If you are coming here for the first time, do not forget to hit the subscribe button and push the notification bell to not miss out any videos. We will meet very soon with a new video. Until then, this is Somveer taking your leave. Adios.